Hey everyone, and welcome. If your goal is to become a teacher in Tamil Nadu, then you have come to the right place. Today, we're going to break down the official Tamil Nadu Teacher Eligibility Test notification for 2025. We'll cover everything you need to know.
So, are you ready to start your teaching journey? Well, passing this exam is your first major step. Think of this as your go-to guide, where we simplify all the official rules so you can get going with total confidence.
Okay, let's get right into it. Here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with the basics of the test itself, then we'll dive into who's eligible. After that, we'll decode the exam papers, talk about the scores you need to aim for, walk you through how to apply online, and wrap it all up with the dates you absolutely need to remember.
So, first up, what exactly is the TNTET? Well, simply put, it's the mandatory qualifying exam for anyone who wants to teach classes 1 through 8 in schools all across Tamil Nadu. You can pretty much think of it as your official entry ticket into the teaching profession.
Now, the test is split into 2 different papers. You've got paper I, which is for teaching the younger kids in primary classes from 1 to 5, and then there's paper 2, which is for middle school, so that covers classes 6 to 8. Which one you focus on really just depends on your career goals.
All right, now this is a big one. This is the part you absolutely have to get right. Let's dig into the specific qualifications you need to have just to be eligible to apply for these papers. So for paper I, which targets the primary classes, you're generally looking at needing to have completed your 12th grade plus some kind of relevant teaching diploma or degree. Just take a good look at the screen and see which one of these paths matches up with your background.
Now for paper 2, the requirements definitely step up a notch. You'll typically need a graduation degree along with your B.Ed or diploma. Oh, and here's an interesting one. If you're an engineering graduate with a B.Ed, you can apply, but it's specifically for the mathematics and science teacher option.
Okay, and this is a really important point. If you belong to one of the reserved categories listed here, the percentage requirements we just talked about are relaxed by 5%. So, for example, if a qualification says you need 50% marks, for you, it would be 45%. You'll want to keep that detail in mind for sure.
Let's move on to the exam structure itself. Knowing what to expect is half the battle, right? This is where you can start building your study plan.
The format for both papers is actually pretty simple. You're going to face 150 multiple-choice questions, and you get exactly 3 hours to answer them all. You know, that's just a little over a minute for each question, so your time management is going to be absolutely crucial.
Now, looking at paper I, what's really interesting is how perfectly balanced it is. As you can see, there are 5 sections, and every single one is compulsory. Each one carries the exact same weight, 30 marks. That means you've got to have a solid prep strategy for all of them.
Okay, now listen to this because this is a super important detail you can't miss. While the topics you're studying are from the primary school syllabus, the questions themselves are going to be much tougher at a secondary stage difficulty level. It means you really have to understand the concepts deeply, not just scratch the surface.
For paper 2, the structure is a little different. See those first 3 sections, pedagogy and the 2 languages, they're compulsory for everybody. But that final and biggest section is where you have a choice to make. You'll either take mathematics and science, or you'll take social science. It all depends on your own background and what you want to teach.
And just like with paper I, there's a catch here too. This really highlights how much more challenging paper 2 is. The syllabus is for classes 6 to 8, but the questions, they're benchmarked at a higher secondary level, which is basically 12th grade difficulty. Your preparation has to account for that big jump.
So, we know the structure, we know the content, but what score do you actually need to pass? Let's take a look at the target, the minimum score you've got to hit to clear the TNTET.
This table lays it all out for you, nice and simple. If you're in the general category, your magic number is 90 marks, or 60%. For most reserved categories, that target is 82 marks. And for 2025, there's a special one-time concession for ST candidates, bringing their qualifying score down to 60 marks.
And hey, here's some really great news. Once you pass this exam, you're done. Your TNTET certificate is valid for your entire life, so you won't ever have to worry about renewing it or taking the test again. That's a huge relief, right?
All right, we've covered the what and the why, so let's get practical and talk about the how. Here is your quick guide to the online application process.
First things first, the entire process is online. You've got to go to the official Teachers Recruitment Board website. Make sure you have your scanned photo and signature ready to go, and pay attention to those file sizes. Then you upload your documents and pay the fee online. And just to be clear, they will not accept any offline applications.
So, what about the fee? For the general category, it's 600 rupees per paper. For those in the reserved categories, it's 300 rupees. And listen, this is a big one. If you're applying for both Paper I and Paper 2, you have to pay the fee for each paper separately.
Okay, last but definitely not least, let's talk dates. You're going to want to pull out your calendar for this because these are the deadlines you absolutely cannot afford to miss.
Here is your entire timeline all in one place. Applications kick off on August 11th, and they close sharp on September 8th. The exams themselves are tentatively scheduled for that first weekend in November. Go ahead and put these dates on your calendar right now.
Before we wrap up, there's one last thing I really want you to remember. The TNTET is an eligibility test. Passing it gets your foot in the door. It makes you qualified, but it does not guarantee you a job. You'll still need to take a separate competitive exam for the actual recruitment. This certificate is basically your key to get to that next stage.
So there you have it. We've walked through the entire official notification, from A to Z. The complete roadmap is laid out for you. The journey from here on out, well, that's yours to begin. Good luck.